Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to Screenfire, and we're going to talk about Death on the Nile. A movie directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring Kenneth Branagh and several other great actors. And I'm not alone here. I'm talking with Tony. Hi, Tony. Welcome.
Hi, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Tony, so who are you and what are you doing?
I'm Tony. I'm a video game journalist for about 10 to 12 years. And movies are my passion because when you make one hobby your job, you need another hobby.
That's true. So, and now we are going to talk about Death on the Nile. What's the movie about for our audience who don't know?
It's practically a sequel to
Murder at the Orient Express.
Murder at the Orient Express. It's starring Master Detective Hercule Poirot, who's Belgian.
Played by Kenneth Branagh.
Played by Kenneth Branagh. And he's, after the events of the last movie, on holiday, presumably, in Egypt, and suddenly on a cruise ship with a lot of pretty rich and famous people. There's a murder
He has to solve. Yeah, well, let's talk about the movie.
Someone is dead. The crime is murder.
Tony, so we watched it several days ago. What are your thoughts about Death on the Nile? Did you like the movie?
I liked the movie, yeah. We talked about it when we left the cinema, and the first thing, we both had our gut feeling. The first thing was like, you get what you expect, and not in a bad way. Like, our expectations wasn't like, we want to watch the next action Michael Bay thing, just a good whodunit movie, and that's it. And he completely got to the point of that.
Yeah, it completely delivered. It's also, I don't know. It's, as you said, it's good and bad in the same way because it's not a great movie. I wouldn't say Michael Bay because I really don't like Michael Bay except for
was just for the action, friends.
Yeah, for the action, yeah. But yeah, it's a good, entertaining movie. But I don't know. What would you say are your biggest pros? I know you have some notes.
Down.
Yeah.
I'm prepared. So, one of my biggest pros is that they switched up the character dynamics a lot in comparison to the book or the old movie, which is, if I remember quite right,
yeah, you watched the old movie.
Yeah, I watched the old movie pretty recent. I read the book perhaps as a kid. I'm not into crime books anymore, so it's been a long day. But they switched up the main audience and so the character, because I think it was an all-white cast back then and in the books, because the main audience for the books were rich upper-class British people, and now it's for everyone. It's in the movie is in cinemas for everyone, for younger, older, black, white, Asian, the whole country, the whole world is going to watch, has the possibility to watch the movie. And so they brought so many different characters in, or switched characters.
In comparison to the old movie, yeah. I haven't seen the old movie. I don't know, in ages. I think the last time was about 20 years ago or so. But yeah, I have to agree, it's a much more diverse cast. But in a good way. It's never. It always fits. It's fitting. It's not like you would think there is an agenda behind it because you have to cast diverse. No, it makes sense in the universe. It's really good.
Yeah, and the characters they switched up for different heritages, for example, are fitting now. It's not like you made this character Hispanic because you have to have a Hispanic person in the movie. No, they gave it a quite fitting background, so you believe it. It doesn't feel uncanny in some way. It's just, yeah. I believe that in the 30s, this person would have taken this boat on the Nile because it's totally reasonable.
Yeah, it is. I was really surprised to see. What was his name? The one with the glasses, the actor, Russell.
I don't know who you mean.
he was the main lead in Get Into the Greek. The one with the
I'm
doctor.
so bad with names.
The doctor. Yeah. I was really surprised that he was in it, and he played very well. Also, Miss Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Miss Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot. Yeah, she was also really fantastic. But so was the whole cast. There was not a single actor I had feeling did a bad job or anything. But
And it was pretty high cast.
Yeah.
Like the old movie as well. It had Maggie Smith, you know, McGonagall, but much younger, and
but still old. You told me
Yeah.
in your
Angela
movie.
Lansbury. It was a high-rated cast back then, and they did it again, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's true. And also, it's, as I mentioned before, it's directed by Kenneth Branagh, and he's also the main lead. So, which is in my universe, that's insane, because I also directed very small scenes with myself in the main role, but really nothing comparable, of course. It's very small, but still it's so exhausting. It's so exhausting. So, Kenneth Branagh.
And he did a great job.
Yeah, of course. So what's another point you have in your notebook?
Let's stay on the positive side. So, we talked about the cast. I liked it, and the acting was great.
Yeah.
It was so fitting, and I loved that it felt bigger than the old movie. So it felt the parties. It's not quite like The Great Gatsby, but they little caught on that feeling, like the dresses, the whole design of the ship.
Yeah.
I liked the art design a lot because it felt big, but in the same way it only took place on this tiny little Nile boat.
I really would love to say something negative about this, but let's go to that later. You know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. But yeah, I agree. It's those kind of larger than life movies that are also believable, because with all the superhero Avengers movies, it's always big and it's always gigantic, but it's also a little bit silly sometimes. But movies like Ben-Hur, or especially the old movies, they are big but believable. And I had the same feeling with this one. It was big, but I could believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Definitely.
is definitely a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about the most points. The diversity, I liked it, and it felt natural. It was great. And I like the nature shots. Like, it takes place in Egypt, and we had the pyramids, and we had a lot of it felt like a drone shots above the Nile. And I'm not sure everything was shot in place, but it looked real and good.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have to get to some negative things about it.
Yeah, there were green screen scenes. You could definitely see. I know.
There are a lot of green screen and CGI shots, and you could always tell because of the light.
Yeah. Sometimes it felt flat. The background felt plain flat. Like there's a background and everything in front of it is moving, and you see it. Yeah,
you can definitely see it. And there was a scene with a snake, and the snake looked like, I don't know, 2010 CGI, and I'm not talking about Avatar. It was really bad.
The scene with the fish as well.
Oh yeah, and with the fish.
It's like an underwater shot with there's a fish nibbling on something, and why? Why did they need this? It was so unnecessary, and it was so ugly.
Because they thought, obviously, it's gonna look cool, but it didn't.
Yeah,
It was
and
fake.
it was completely unnecessary.
And
It didn't bring any value to the movie.
no, and you with all those CGI shots, I understand it's expensive. It's expensive to shoot on location, but it's always better. Always. Exception would be Dune. Yeah, but they did something clever with Dune because they had they were running in front of a green screen, but with real explosions in the background.
Yeah, I've
foreground.
seen some making of shots.
Yeah.
Like the Duncan Idaho fighting scene.
Yeah, and it's a total different thing because you have the real light from the explosions on their faces. And if you don't know how to light such a scene, just shoot on location.
I can only imagine that it's pretty hard to light something like that. Like setting sun in the desert of Egypt. Like, if you've never been there as an American movie maker, you can imagine. You can transfer from your light conditions in your country, but it's not the same. Like the sand, there was a sandstorm in the scene as well, with they getting back to the boat with smaller ships, and it was like a sandstorm in the back, and it was kind of yellowish in the air. But this scene didn't transport the right light feeling.
I mean, for me, it wasn't a huge deal breaker, if you know what I mean. It was just always there, with all establishing shots. It was always the same for me, except some scenes who were shot on location, you could tell. But it was always like, yeah, okay, it's another green screen shot. But yeah, it wasn't bothering me that much.
Yeah, and it wasn't a deal breaker, like you said.
Yeah.
It was just unnecessary, and it could have be left out, and it would be probably, I can tell, but it felt like it would have been better without these little problematic scenes. But they're small, and they're sometimes. That's not like the whole movie felt like a plain green screen
Yeah.
thing.
True. Okay, do you have
One
another con or pro?
Let's talk about another negative point I had. I think we talked about the scenes and the techniques and the actors, but story-wise, I felt two things they switched up very, very hard. One was good, like in the old movie and the book, they all meet, they don't meet on purpose. It's like they meet on the boat and everyone got business with the victim.
So it isn't a wedding.
It's the honeymoon, but all the people are just on different costs on the boat. But unfortunately, everyone has business with the main character. And that felt a little off in the old movie and in the book, but it was like it was. Yeah. When you're rich and white and British, you have a Nile boat tour at the same time on the year with everyone you hate.
Of course.
They switched up this in the new movie. You want to tell the audience what they did this time? Why everyone was on the same boat? On the same boat.
Well, I don't know. Do we get into spoiler territory with this one, or it's hard, or isn't it? I don't know.
It's about the wedding.
Yeah.
The wedding is the main theme, the main character.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. So maybe
It's
we
dangerous
should.
territory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give it our rating, and after that, I would say, or do you have
I have
another one?
maybe I have a way to get around it.
Okay.
It's like the motives. There's a stronger reason to be everyone on the boat, but the motives of the people, of the suspects, are weaker. Because you have to make up stronger motives because they are all there, but why should they kill the victim? Now, it's reasonable why they're all there, but not everyone, I thought, is as reasonable as the reasons in the old and in the original to kill.
Okay. Because I haven't seen the old one, I don't know what the motives are.
So
there,
it's better and worse at the same time. It's different. Okay. It's just different, and it levels up, but it's different.
Okay. So what would you say, or do you have another another one.
I miss the clumsy fun. That's something with the darker take on.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed the
There
dark
was-
tone. It was like in Murder in the Orient Express.
Murder in the Orient Express is, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same style.
Yeah. Also visually and from the feeling you get from the movie. But I liked... There was just some cultural appropriate jokes in the old movie that's not so funny, but they had like more casual, just making fun of something. Hercule Poirot says something with a French accent and his buddy doesn't understand it, and so he gets the wrong dish and it's just looks disgusting, and he's like, no, I didn't mean that. And I said you said Moraine. Unnecessary. It's cheap, but it gets your smile. The new movie has 1 or 2 scenes. One is in the trailer, so I think we can spoil it. It's like, you suspect me of murder? Yeah, he does that with everyone. And I do it with everyone. It's kind of a problem. that level of jokes are very rare in this movie, and I like it. It spices things up, I thought.
Without any spoilers, but I really enjoyed the first scene. It starts off in World War One, and I don't want to spoil you the conclusion of the scene at the end, but it was really well shot, and you see Kenneth Branagh's character as a young soldier, and yeah, it was a really nice well done scene.
It gives Hercule Poirot some backstory, and that's great, because if you drop into this universe without any Agatha Christie knowledge, you have seen Murder in the Orient Express, and there's just the main character is a super fancy Belgian guy, and he's pretty smart in getting cases solved. And now you have the same character, but because this whole universe is centered around Hercule Poirot, there's the need to give him some deeper backstory he hadn't had in the past, and I liked it.
Yeah. So, what is your rating?
It's hard, but I think it's a high 7-ish, like 7 or something, because it overall felt wholesome and great, and you get what you expect, but I cannot pinpoint what's missing, but the cherry on top is somehow missing, and that's why it's not an 8 for me.
8 or higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me I would say 7.6. It's a 7.6. Maybe 7.7. 7. Yeah, 7.6. It's a 7.6.
I go with 7.7, then it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to get into spoiler territory?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about spoilers, because there the fun begins.
Okay, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, now's the time to turn off. And if you do want to know, here we go. You've been warned.
So what do you want to spoil first?
Yeah. Normally it's pretty hard to guess who's the killer. But in this case, in the middle of the movie, I got it. Because they mentioned that the color was missing. The mother of...
The carmine red.
Yeah, the carmine
There's
red.
a painter, you get, for everyone who hadn't seen the movie, there's a painter, and she's painting something like in green, what was red in the original, and someone says like, why is this green? He wore a red jacket, and she's like, I'm missing my red carmine, and like 5 times more.
Yeah.
She's missing her carmine red.
And because the only scene where blood was in it was the scene where he got shot in the, I don't know, what was it? Was it the knee or the ankle?
It's
or
above the knee in the old movie, and I think below the knee.
Yeah,
Somewhere around the knee.
he was shot in the leg. So at this moment, it was
gotta tell
clear
who's
to me.
he. He's the husband of
Yeah.
the fresh married
So
couple.
the fiancé, no, it's not the fiancé, it's the husband,
Yeah.
fresh married. Yeah, true.
That's the honeymoon, so they should
Yeah.
have married.
And he gets shot, and it's the only scene where you can see blood. So it was pretty obvious that he has to be the one or has to be involved somehow, because otherwise they wouldn't have mentioned that the color is missing and that's red, and that's the only scene where red is in it. So yeah, I put one and one together and it was pretty obvious to me.
I thought about that because at first I was pretty impressed that you got in that so quickly. But in hindsight, this movie made it pretty obvious because they said it before the accident shot happened. They said it a lot. There was a lot of focus on the red. In the old movie, in the book, it's like there's missing some red somewhere, but Hercule Poirot only finds it out after. So the victim is shot and they carry it away, and then he goes through the room and looks what's off. And there's like, oh, here's this empty nail polish and it doesn't smell like nail polish. And then he puts it back and that's it. It's after the murder happened and then it's never mentioned again. So the scene with the blood on the fake blood on this tissue is so much, happened much more further in the film, and then they notice it, and then I take a note because that is going to important, but because the order is different, you don't see the point where it was important.
Yeah.
You just, if you have a really sharp mind, you probably can conclude it then, but it's much harder than in the new movie.
Yeah, true.
But was it good or bad for you that you got the hang on it, and then did you feel satisfied at the end and
Not
was like,
really.
yeah, I was right, or like, oh, that's obvious, why did they do
Yeah,
this?
not really, because it was kind of obvious to me, and
That's
it
it.
took away some of the fun, because I was thinking about, okay, there has to be two murderers, or two people involved, and because the other, his wife was dead, and his ex-girlfriend was with him on the ship, so...
But he had a safe alibi.
Yeah, but because the red was missing, I thought, okay, he snuck into her room and killed her. So it didn't satisfy me because it was too easy. So no, unfortunately, no.
That's sad.
Yeah, but what I really loved, as mentioned before, is the First World War scene. It was a small detail because they explained why he had this big mustache, and at the end, so was it his wife or fiance or girlfriend?
His fiancée.
His fiancée,
Yeah.
right? She dies because she wants to visit him at the trenches for Christmas, and
He wanted her to visit.
he wanted her to visit him, and she was arriving by train. Train got hit by artillery, and she died. So, as a reminder of her, because he was hit in the face with a shrapnel, and his face was
He gets scars.
scars and disfigured and pretty ugly. And she gave him the advice to grow a mustache, and dies. So his mustache was kind of a reminder, or
He worried for her.
Yeah, for her. And at the end, he kind of gets over her, and accepts it, and cuts it off. And you see him with a possible new love interest in a theater, or was it?
It's
theater?
the club.
It's a club. Yeah, it was a club
where
from
they
the beginning.
always
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah, and it was such a small detail, but I really liked it.
I
I
did
gave
as
him
well.
a little bit more
I did as
character.
well. I have a point, like the darker undertone sets in the old movie. Everyone leaves the boat who survived. Everyone who survived leaves the boat, and they find love. They're happy. They're relieved because the main character, the victim, is a real bitch in the old movie. Gal Gadot isn't. They switched up this completely because you cannot imagine playing Gal Gadot some bitchy type of.
Oh, I bet she could.
Yeah, of course, she's a great actress, but that's not the image she has now for the moment in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She's like the perfect Wonder Woman, and she's literally perfect. I love Gal Gadot. No shade.
You know that I haven't seen one single Wonder Woman movie.
That's okay.
Yeah, I guess. So
Okay.
I heard the first one is pretty solid,
It's
but
solid.
the second one is.
I haven't
don't
seen
know.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
mention it.
Gal Gadot is such a lovely person. In interviews, when you watch her, it's like it's a nice person.
Yeah.
Why should the character she's playing be such a
Maybe because it would be such a heavy contrast.
But they
to her.
didn't.
They didn't do it. Yeah.
They made Lynette a very nice person. So that's why the motives are sometimes off, I think. For me, it felt like, why? Lynette in the old movie and the book has always stressed with everyone who's got a motive to kill her. So it's like, this one guy says, hey, don't talk about shit, you're a very prominent person. If you tell shit about my hospital, I lose all my money. And she's like, sue me. I can't sue you if I lose all my reputation. She's like, that's not my problem. You did this, and I was annoyed by it, so I talk shit about you. That's very broken down. But
Yeah.
that's how the characters acts often.
Yeah.
And they completely took this out. And it's kind of, they got the twist about it, but so the motives felt weak. I don't like this so much.
Yeah.
But that's why everyone in the end of the old movie is happy. And now they kill some other characters and not everyone leaves the boat happy. Some of the other suspects are crying. Some of the people are like, yeah, how should I get my life together with this? This was really traumatizing.
Yeah.
And I liked that very much, and I thought, yeah, it hasn't that quite heavy end. But now you told about the whole love thing and the mustache thing, and that's the pretty last scene.
Yeah.
And that gets the positivity, like on a very melancholic level, but a good one.
It's really a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
And I love bittersweet endings because
Me too.
most of the time, okay, in Lord of the Rings, the happy ending was great, but it's really a black and white movie, so it's fine. But most of the time, I hate it. I hate happy endings. Doesn't have to be all dark, but just a little bittersweet touch is always
They
good.
got the black and white pretty good out of this movie. Like, Hercule Poirot is a solid, good character. He's always like, I got this case done. I'm a little arrogant. Yeah, I'm a little over the top sometimes. Yeah, but I'm on the right side. And with this backstory, he's like, yeah, he has flaws too. He's not invincible.
True.
He's not that invincible detective who has this high opinion of this. He's flawed in a good way.
I love the scene where the black woman, forgot her name, criticized him.
Otterborn. Salomon Otterborn.
Yeah, she criticized him and he was so right, and he ran after her to apologize.
Yeah.
And it was a great scene because it showed, as you said, he's not Superman. So he's not a white hero.
Yeah.
With a white vest.
Salome Otterborn, by the way, is one of the characters they switched out completely. The name is the same. And she's traveling with her daughter, which is also the same. But in the old book, in the old movie, she's played by Angela Lansbury and is an author for nitty-gritty, not so famous anymore sex books. And they left it out completely. I missed the sex, not that there was sex in the movie, absolutely not. But they switched out this detail that Otterborn is like over the top and like loud and unnecessary, cringy sometimes, but that's the character. But they left that out completely and made her just too cool for my taste.
Yeah. Now you're mentioning it, yeah, she didn't have any edges.
Yeah.
she was really flat. I love the scene at the stairs, but she is a character.
She's a strong woman. I love that
Yeah.
as well. But
Not only strong women. I love strong characters with flaws.
yeah,
That's why I don't like Captain Marvel, because she doesn't have any flaws.
I don't like Captain America.
Yeah. But does Captain America have flaws?
He gets some in the comics and in the later movies,
Yeah.
a little bit, but
I like
the
Captain
character
America.
concept doesn't have much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So
Any more
should I look
points?
some
Yeah, sure.
my notice?
check your notes.
Yeah, there's no great point I want to talk about anymore. I think we got the most of it.
Yeah.
It's like you had some points which were technically, as a gun nerd, quite unsatisfying for you.
Yeah, that's true. At the end scene, the two characters, the husband and their ex-girlfriend, is she shooting him or he her? She's shooting him.
She shoots. They hug, and she puts the gun on his
on
back.
his back. Yeah, right. And it's a 22 caliber, and it
More
wouldn't-
like a toy.
Yeah, that's what they say in the movie all the time. It's more like a toy.
They say it in the old movie twice. They say it a lot more often in the new
That's
one.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. I can tell you, it's not a toy. It's really dangerous and deadly, but it wouldn't penetrate two bodies. And it bothered me a little bit, just a little bit, because I thought, no, that would not gonna happen.
It's two shots in the old movie. She first shoots him and then herself.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
But I guess that's more poetic if she shoots
But
him to the back.
I'm not sure if it would work, because in the old movie it's a really big thing that there must be 3 shots. It has four bullets, and 3 should have been missing because there were 3 shots fired through the movie with this gun, and he puts one back in so to capture his steps. So in the new movie they don't mention the detail. So they were
Didn't they?
No, they didn't.
Are you sure? Because didn't they mention that he?
They?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Did
that he.
they explain that he put that bullet back in? That
Yeah.
They only. Then I missed it. I'm
I'm
sorry.
pretty sure
Okay.
they said it, but maybe you can tell us if you've seen the movie. But I'm not 100% sure, but 98% sure. I don't know.
Then for me it felt much bigger in the old one.
Okay.
Like that when they don't mention it in the new movie, there should have been 1 bullet left. So she would have needed to shot them both at the same time, because
Yeah.
only 1 bullet.
Okay, so still you stay with your rating.
Yeah, even with the spoiler points, I go with a high 7.7.
7.7, 7.6 for me. Okay, thank you, Tony, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, if you like the video, please give us a thumb up, subscribe, and we see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.